Hey everybody, we are getting ready for Anime St. Louis. We have our last batch of tie-dyes before, like this is the last one that we're doing before Anime St. Louis. We didn't quite get done with all of them. We have like 10 more blanks that we didn't get tie-dyed, but it's Tuesday. I figured we could go ahead and do it, or we could start tying up loose ends because we are leaving very first thing Thursday morning to make the drive out to St. Louis to get the booth set up. Like I want to be there when they open the doors to let the vendors in because we're going to need every second to get the booth set up. And I'm going to take you guys through this week with me. Okay, so these are all of the dies. Those are the blanks that we didn't get to. And then these that I'm going to have to carve a path to are the poi flags that I'm going to try to get made before Anime St. Louis. So in my whole, this is the messiest my house has been in a while, but I'm embracing the chaos. It's okay, but I will get to that. We'll keep you posted. Pray for me. We need to get those made. So Randy is rinsing out the tie-dyes and I am tagging our jewelry that we've made in the past couple of weeks. So we figured we had, oh, let me get a tripod so my arm doesn't get tired, but I'm going to tell you all about it. So back in January, we had set production numbers for ourselves for, like we went through and did our full inventory and even, oh, I gotta get ribbon for on these. We did our full inventory just to see what we had in stock and then to figure out from there what we needed more of. So we have, where did it go? I have my little book that I write all my things in. Here we go. So like we took inventory of all the different styles of bracelets that we had and how many that we had of them, and then we made a list. Let me go ahead and just pull this out of here of the things that we were like, we need to make more of these. And we had a whole comprehensive, very high-tech list of like you know, the herringbone lampwork stuff, didn't get those made. The marquee wrap, didn't get those, didn't get dragonized, didn't get the Diaco Groovies. Like there was so much that we didn't get to, but we had broken it down into, you know, let's try to knock out 4 designs a week for like different earrings and stuff. And so, and then every week we would tag them. And so here we've got some of this. These are some of the pendants that we made, but these past like 2 or 3 weeks, things have been super crazy. So we have not tagged. So I have a bunch of tagging to do. And I do that with these shark skin tags. They're my favorite, honestly, just because they're what I'm used to and I know what to expect. And then, but I do like to use, instead of using the pens that come with it, I like to use these little Micron 005, like the really, really fine tip, like a 0.2 millimeter tip. But then I also have this one for if that other pen does. And that's what I use to write the price, as well as we've started doing, we'll put like what gemstone it is on it, because used to when it was just Randy and I in the booth, we both knew all the information about all the stuff, so we didn't bother writing it down. But now that we have our niece and her mama helping, it's very helpful to them for us to write it down. And honestly, if our like, I'm an extrovert, so I don't mind talking to people a bit, but I want to give the option that if some of our customers are like, I don't want to have to talk to people, they can just read the tag and they'll have information, and then they can still ask questions if they would like. But just having that information on there, you know, if I can answer their question without, like, I don't want them to have to wait for, you know, just so, I don't know, it seemed like a solid idea. So tagging, I figure we've had all since January to build up and make all of the inventory that we can. I'm going to take these last 2 days, instead of making more inventory, I'm just going to tag and tie up all the loose ends that we can. Normally this is the time when I would be doing a mock booth setup as well, but we packed down really tight after Dragon Con, our last vending event. And so I'm going to just have faith in past us that we did our best, and we do have our hot glue gun with us if anything goes awry. And other than that, we'll just kind of figure it out. And again, I'll keep you all posted through this vlog. Let's get to tagging. Also, if you're in a similar boat as us and you're coming up on a vending event and you have no idea what to make, that's what, like, I didn't know what to make, so I was like, well, I could do, Randy's got rings prepped for me, we could do scale mail, I could make some more wire wrap pendants, I could do this, and I couldn't pick one. But what made it easy was like, what if I just tied up loose ends? And that was like let's do that. And so, because it doesn't matter how much stuff I have done, if I don't have it tagged and bagged and ready to go, then I'm just making more problems for Thursday morning, Vaughn. So I'm thinking of her, y'all. Alrighty, so after we have our stuff tagged, we've got this empty inventory tray that I'm gonna, and I'll show you in the booth. We just kind of just pack that on in there. So professional, but it's okay. It is okay. And yeah, so hard to do one-handed, but there we go. And ideally we'd have all of our trays filled up all the way, because that just makes my brain happy. But this is what we were able to get. I'm going to show you guys our full inventory after we get the rest of this stuff packed away. And then I know I said I wasn't going to make anything else, but I started making some circlets because I have all of these moons here, and I bet if I focus and stop getting distracted by YouTube, I'll be able to get all those done today. I'll check in with you. So I got one circlet made out of the whole bunch that I was gonna. It's good to be ambitious. Even if we fall short, I still got one additional one made. That's better than none. But all in all, I think we had a pretty good day today. We've got all of these bins full of tie-dyes, and then I'm here in the kitchen. It's super dark, but we'll get better video tomorrow, but let me show you. So this is how the tie-dyes, again, it's very dark. This is how they're looking so far. Getting some of the tie-dyes. We don't normally keep them here in the kitchen, but I had other things going on in the other room where we normally keep them. But oh my god, I love these pinks, and you can hear the washer and dryer going. Oh, this one might be one of my favorites. But we're going to be getting the rest of those washed and dried, and then we're going to be getting all this cleaned up, and then we're going to be doing more stuff tomorrow. So I will check back in with you guys then. We're at the Walmart getting some ribbon. Some beautiful flowers. Look at these fuchsia. So we got some dowels at the Lowe's.
Like 14 of them.
Yeah. I'm getting video. We're having some breakfast of my favorite part of the day at Five Guys. Well, you can't see the sign because I'm not walking all the way over there. It's Five Guys, y'all. Well, we just had lunch at Five Guys and it was delicious, but now we're heading off to Sam's Club because we're crock potting in the hotel room this weekend, so gotta get the last of the stuff for that. Are those flowers? Woo. Oh, the meat's so big. So I'm going to get this pulled pork put out of its packaging and put into the freezer to get frozen up to keep the cooler nice and cold. And then with these bad boys, we just got home, so Z-Dog is chugging water. One of these roasts is going into our freezer, the other one, like for us, and the other one's going in the freezer, but just to get frozen solid for the crock pot this weekend. So now that we have the ribbon, I can get all of these scale tops, which we just have the 4 of them, but still, that's better than 4 less. I got to get them ribboned up and ready to be sold, so hopefully they can go to their new home. Okay, so Walmart did not have any of the same kind of ribbon, like enough of, let me just dump this out. We spent like 24 bucks on ribbon, which is like too much, but I was too late to order it online from where I usually prefer to, so $25.61, so that's fine. But we usually get the inch wide stuff. Black is my favorite because it goes with everything and it's very easy to swap the ribbons out. But we have a purple top, so I'm going to be putting purple ribbon, and this is the 7/8 inch by 18 feet. And normally I do a full arm span and then I cut it, so that's like 5 feet, and then I cut it, and that's one length. So let me go ahead and cut our first end. I like to cut them at an angle. just like so. Boop. Just like that. So there's one. And you know, we could, once I've got one cut, we can just use both of them, or use it to cut the others too. You can be however imperfect or as precise as you would like to be. And then for the remainder of what's on here, yeah, I can get one top's worth of ties out of a spool. So here's our two. Those will be for probably over the shoulders or around the back. I don't think it matters too much. And then matching these ends up so we can find the middle, and that is pretty close to 5 feet. So or it must be closer to 4 or something, because all right, so now we're gonna take our scale top, and I put the ribbon through the scales. So it is so warm in here today too, you guys. I think I'm going to start getting like the fans set up. But through the topmost, I'm going to grab one of our ribbons. We're going to get it lined up on the ends and then fold it in half. I'm going to feed it from front to back. You could do it from back to front. It's just whichever I do. I try to be consistent throughout the top because the magic happens in the details. But I'm just pulling through a lark's head knot, just like that. And that's one shoulder tie. And so I'm going to do that on the other 3 corners, and I'm going to do that to the other 3 tops. And I will meet you guys. What did we do? It back to front or front to back? I think we did front to back. It only helps if I can remember. So, but yeah, so then that gives us, whoops, plenty of ribbon to be able to tie on this scale top in any sort of way that we might want to. So, oh, I love these tops. Okay, I'll meet y'all in the next thing that we do. And just like that, they are all ribboned up and done. So I'm going to hook these into the done bucket. Randy ran to the post office to get the packages dropped off and check the P.O. box. And now I get to put ribbon on a bunch of circlets. So chugging right along. There's one down. And it sounds like Randy's home. So Randy's getting the saw set up, and I'm taking all the stickers off of the dowels, and I'm gonna be honest, they've been coming off a lot cleaner than what I expected them to, and I think that's a blessing because I hate screwing around with all the sticky on the stuff. What are you thinking, Briquette? Baby, these look great. And so we enter into the depths of the storage room to uncover, through the cobwebs and dust, Boxer, our workhorse sewing machine. Hey y'all, Future Vaughn here. So I started out prototyping on one. Now we had done like pre-prototyping with using some different weights and stuff, and I think the dowels are my favorite way, especially with these cotton flags. They really need something with a little bit more rigidity in it, whereas I think if we were working with silk, using the weights would have been just fine. Now just getting the machine threaded up with a thread that matches all of the flags. I think if I were to do this again in the future, I would sew with a thread that takes dye as well, and I would just get them all sewn while they're blank. But live and learn, and learn as we go. making sure to tidy up all my little extra bobbin threads and get the ends sewed off nice. And once we had prototyped out the steps for one, I went through and just kind of mass produced. I think we had like 11 or 12 sets of flags to make, so I went through and ironed all of them first. I love having my little modular sewing setup. I would love to have like a whole proper sewing room, but maybe one day. For now, a table set up in the kitchen gets it done. And then once I had all the ironing done, I got them laid out to where they're matching and just started sewing everything on. And I went ahead and started adding the swivels as well. I wanted to go ahead and add the swivel finger loop, and that way by the time I was done with this step with each of the flags, that it was done. All it needed was the dowel and it's ready to go. And I'm going to be honest with you, this was a whole lot of work, but it was wonderful. It made me feel like I was being very productive. It helped me find peace and settle my mind. And I really didn't want to leave them just in a stack because I don't know when we'll be vending again where they would make sense to sell. Now, we only sold a couple of them. A lot of that was because they weren't displayed well. They were kind of off behind the table, but we'll get more into that later. I'm still really glad that I made them, and they are up for sale on our website, backtoearthcreations.com, if you're interested in one. Alrighty, guys. Well, we have finished up sewing all the flags. I am exhausted. The sun has set enough that the driveway's in shade, so we'll be loading the van here shortly. But first, we're having a snack of a pork chop on a fork with some berries and cheese, so I'm excited about that. Alrighty, y'all. It's a little behind schedule, but we have all of this stuff here and some more in the house that we're going to need to get loaded into the van, so let's get started. Yeah, there's a bunny right there. Oh, hello, bunny. What a good bunny. Okay, so this is how it starts. We got to take some of the other stuff out.
What that doggy do? What that doggy do? Yeah.
So already we've run into our first snag, and that is one of these blue totes that we've had since like 2008 broke at Dragon Con last year, and we forgot to get a replacement. So we're going to run to Walmart. We're going to get the dimensions, and hopefully we'll be able to get totes that are pretty close to that size that will still be able to fit all of our stuff in. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
What you doing?
Tagging all the tie-dye.
Oh. Okay.
What are you doing?
Good.
Oh, okay. So these are our old totes. And these are the new totes, and I feel so good about this. Let's see if we can get the stuff transferred over. Hey y'all, it is super late. We just had dinner. I am exhausted, and dehydrated. We're going to go to bed and get started again in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It is a new day. We're running a little behind schedule, but still more or less doing pretty good. So last night we got the van loaded to this point. So you can see we've got a little bit more space to be able to fit the last few things in. I don't think Randy's going to have visibility through the back, but that's why we have side mirrors. So one of the things that I love best about our minivan, except for that we can fit all of our stuff in it, is that the side windows come down so we can fill the van up, shut the door, and then keep packing stuff into the side. So now I get to say goodbye to the critters. Bye-bye to the Ember cat. Yeah, and to the Z-Dog, my babies. We got the house all ready for the house sitter, and now it's time to get on the road. It's only 4 hours, but after last weekend's 12, this will be a blink of the eye. So we'll see you guys on the road. We're on the road. That's the van all loaded up. That's my Randy ready to go. So wish us luck. We're taking a break at Boogies. Woo! Look at these beautiful dogwoods. They seem a little touched by the sun. That's okay. So we're just eating breakfast, having a picnic in the van before getting back on the road. What's for breakfast, baby? We got a sausage bowl, some sausage biscuits, a log of turkey jerky. So, as per tradition, once we got on the road, my vlogging kind of falls away just because, getting the work done takes priority. But it was a beautiful drive on the way to St. Louis. We only experienced a little bit of rain, even though it was still perfectly sunny out, which is always fun. But I love getting to be a passenger princess. Randy does such a good job doing all of our driving, and I get to just enjoy looking out the window and looking at the clouds and playing DJ and messing with all the knobs to change the heat and the temperature and stuff. But look at these clouds, y'all. Like, my goodness, what a gorgeous day. We also got to see a whole mess of wisteria blooming, and just spring has fully sprung out in our neck of the woods, and it was so nice to get to spend a 4-hour car ride listening to Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. So I should have gotten some video of the Welcome to St. Louis sign, but we are now officially in St. Louis. Ta-da! And so we're rolling in to, once we cross this bridge, we're basically there. Like, this is go time. And so mentally preparing ourselves for an additional 4 hours of setup for once we get into the dealer's room, get the van unloaded, and start getting it all put together.
It's the convention center.
Oh, hi, Convention Center. Fancy meeting you here. Oh, there's already so much going on. So this is where we load in. We made it! Time to get checked in and unloaded. The first load begins, the unloading. So this is how it starts. And so begins the last load. That goes to the booth, at least. We still got all our hotel stuff, but we can't load that in till like 3. And this is the last load in. Time to get to work. So not every convention does this, but they're taking care of us food-wise at this one. So breakfast with a cookie as big as my face. We start by getting the backdrop set up using heavy-duty zip ties and a whole mess of them to support our grid wall. We use the 2-foot by 8-foot grid wall. And we use a system of different curved rack bars and corner shelves to kind of keep everything to reinforce so we don't rely just on zip ties. And this is definitely a 2-man project. I would not want to be setting this up by myself. We like to use our own 6-foot tables because the conventions, whenever we get a 10 by 10, sometimes they'll provide us with an 8-foot table, and that closes off the opening into our booth just a little too much. So set up our own tables. We put down the squish mats and gaffer tape them down. Progress. Randy is in the break room. Now I'm in the break room too. But it's looking pretty good. That's our day 1 progress. And this is the hotel. The Embassy Suites is pretty nice. It has great amenities, wonderful, like there was very little waiting on the elevators, even when everybody was there. And the hotel room's fantastic because it has this like little kitchenette area and a living room, and then 2 beds, for us and our helpers. Sauce on the side for dinner. Delicious calzones. We ended up eating here again because the crock pot, I forgot to turn it on Saturday, but that's okay. They have all these unique sodas and like really delicious calzones. We ate here with one of my best friends from high school the year prior, and so it was really nice to go back and get to have those memories. essentially for the duration of the trip, it was fantastic, y'all. We had an absolute blast. Maddie and Amy are such great helpers in the booth. I think they do my job better than I do. Randy's an absolute powerhouse, but he spends his weekend on the other end of the table, and I spend my weekend down by the costumes and stuff. So we didn't get to see a whole lot of each other. You can see some of the flags there displayed on the end, as well as kind of right behind Amy there is where we had the rest of them. That was not the best spot. We got to see a whole lot of really cool costumes. I know I loved this one of the Minions and Gru, and of Merman and Barnacle Boy, and just that's us walking through the hall, going back to our hotel room, and getting ready the next morning. It's so nice staying in the convention hotel because we just don't have to worry about taking a drive over. There's my friend Taylor's new fursuit, and oh my gosh, I love all the mushroom fae who come through to visit us. And the lilacs, you guys. Oh, we were out spinning poi in the parking lot, and the air was just heavy with the scent of lilacs, and it was so wonderful. And that's all the video I got of the convention. It's a lot more fun to be there in person than what I capture here in the vlog, but it was a blast, and it was everything we needed the convention to be. So we got packed up and loaded out. Loadout takes about 4 hours to get everything put away. And just coming home the same route we went. I really love vending because it's a whole story arc. You know, leaving on Friday and coming home on Sunday, it's, you know, done and there, and, you know, gosh, what an experience, what a pilgrimage every year. And then we saw this in the sky, which I still don't know what that is, but it looks pretty neat. But we could see it from quite a ways far off, and then whenever we got up on it, like, it was really, I don't know what was going on, but it was neat. It was something else. We stopped at what used to be Dottie's Diner, but is now an IHOP, and just kind of refueled when we got home. We saw these irises blooming out in the garden, and we got the van loaded before the weather found us, so that was really nice. We'll see you all in our next vlog. Until then, thank you so much for being here, and happy crafting. Mwah! Bye!